What if you could pull into a charging station, plug in your EV, and drive away with hundreds of miles of range added in less than 5 minutes? Imagine you're behind the wheel of the latest 2025 Tesla. You roll up to a supercharger, plug in, grab a coffee, and by the time you walk back, your car is already at 80%. Not 30 minutes, not 15 minutes, less than 5. Sounds like science fiction, right? Yet this is exactly what's happening right now, thanks to a tiny but insanely powerful semiconductor called gallium nitride, or GaN for short. Today, we're diving deep into how GaN is igniting the flash charge revolution and why 2025 is being called the year everything changes for electric vehicles. First, let's talk about the old problem. EV batteries keep getting bigger. 100 kilowatts, 120 kilowatts, even 150 kilowatt packs are becoming common. But traditional silicon-based onboard chargers and inverters were limited to around 400-500 volts and low switching frequencies. The result? Charging power was capped at roughly $150-350 kilowatt on most vehicles. That meant 25 to 40 minutes to go from 10% to 80%. Drivers hated waiting. Tesla proved it with the success of supercharger networks. People want speed, just like filling up a gas tank. So how do you push charging power to 500 kilowatt and 600 kilowatt or even higher without making the charger the size of a refrigerator or melting from heat? The answer is simple. Replace silicon with GaN. Gallium nitride isn't brand new. It's been in phone chargers since 2018. But scaling GaN to handle 800-1200 volts in electric vehicles is a completely different game. GaN has a band gap 3 times wider than silicon. That means it can withstand much higher voltages before breaking down. GaN switches 100 times faster than silicon, reaching frequencies in the megahertz range instead of just tens of kilohertz. The outcome? Conversion efficiency above 99%. Heat loss drops to almost nothing. You get smaller, lighter power electronics that can handle massive amounts of power. Let's look at real numbers. A modern 800-volt GaN inverter from companies like IC or GaN Systems weighs only 8 to 10 kilo. The same power level in silicon would weigh 30-40 kilos or more. A 22 kilowatt GaN onboard charger is now the size of a thick hardcover book. The old silicon version looked like a suitcase. Tesla quietly began adopting GaN components in the Cybertruck and refreshed Model Y starting in late 2024. But 2025 is the explosion year. Tesla is expected to launch Supercharger V5 stations capable of 600-700 kWh sustained. New vehicles will feature 800-volt GaN onboard chargers that accept 500-600 kWh easily. That translates to 10% to 80% in under 5 minutes on a 100 kWh battery. Tesla isn't alone. Porsche has already demonstrated over 450 kWh on Taycan prototypes using GaN technology. Hyundai and Kia's next-generation eGMP platform will go full GaN for the Ioniq 7 and EV9. Lucid achieved 500 kW plus in lab tests thanks to GaN power stages. Chinese brands like XPeng and BYD are leading the charge today. The XPeng G9 already hits 480 kW in the real world, adding 200 km of range in just 5 minutes using an 800-volt GaN architecture. GaN isn't only about charging faster, it's revolutionizing the inverter that drives the motors. Higher switching frequencies mean smaller magnets, smaller coils, and smaller capacitors. The entire drivetrain becomes lighter and more responsive. Tesla is developing next-generation GaN inverters for the upcoming robotaxi platform. Overall drivetrain efficiency jumps from around 97% to 99.5% or higher. That 2 to 3% sounds small, but over millions of miles it saves thousands of kilowatt hours. Another hidden benefit few talk about: silence. GaN switches at frequencies above human hearing. The annoying high-pitched whine from old silicon inverters disappears completely. Future EVs will be quieter than ever, even under hard acceleration. So why isn't everyone using GaN right now? 2 big hurdles remained until recently. First, cost. GaN used to be 3 to 5 times more expensive per watt than silicon, but prices dropped over 60% between 2022 and 2024. By 2026, GaN is projected to reach price parity at automotive power levels. Second, long-term reliability at high voltage. Silicon has 50 years of proven durability. GaN at 650 VI has about 10 years, and 1200 VI only a few years. But major suppliers like Efficient Power Conversion, EPC, Transform, and Infineon now offer AEC Q101 qualified GaN devices for automotive use. Tesla, Porsche, and others have already run millions of test miles with zero critical failures. 2025 will be the true breakout year for GAN and EVs. Nearly every premium electric vehicle will move to 800-900-volt architectures built around GAN power electronics. Charging stations delivering 500-700 kilobars will spread rapidly across North America, Europe, and Asia. And that leads us to one final mind-blowing fact. Are you ready? According to BloombergNet, thanks to GAN and ultra-fast charging infrastructure, the global average EV charging stop will drop from 35 minutes in 2023 to under 6 minutes by 2030. In other words, within just 5 years, charging an electric car will be faster and more convenient than filling a gasoline tank. GAN isn't just another semiconductor. It's the spark that's igniting the global electric revolution. It's turning EVs take too long to charge into EVs charge faster than you can get gas. And it all goes mainstream in 2025. The flash charge revolution doesn't stop at the charger plug. It's reshaping the entire grid, the way cities are built, and even how we think about road trips forever. Picture this: a highway rest stop in 2027. You pull in with 8% battery left after blasting down the interstate at 100 mph. You plug into a 700 kilowatt pillar. While you stretch your legs and use the restroom, literally 3 to 4 minutes, your car gains 350 miles of range. No more planning your day around 45-minute charging breaks. No more range anxiety on cross-country drives. Families will take electric vehicles from Los Angeles to New York with the same casual attitude they once had with gasoline cars. That future is no longer decades away. It's being deployed right now. Behind the scenes, GAN is also making battery packs themselves more efficient. Higher voltage systems, 800V, and soon 900-1000V, mean thinner cables, less copper, and lower weight. Every kilogram saved in wiring is a kilogram you can add to the battery instead. Some engineers estimate the move to GAN-enabled 900V architectures will give us 8–12% more range for the same battery size by 2027. Combine that with solid-state batteries coming online around the same time, and we're looking at 700–800-mile real-world ranges becoming normal. The trickle-down effect is already starting in the affordable segment. Chinese giant BYD announced at the end of 2024 that their next Seagull and Dolphin replacements will use 800V GAN platforms and charge at 320–400 kilobars, even though they cost under $25,000. That means in 2026, a budget city car will charge faster than today's million-dollar hypercars. The democratization of ultra-fast charging is happening faster than anyone predicted. Even commercial vehicles are jumping in. Semi-trucks, delivery vans, and electric buses need megawatt-level charging to make economic sense. The first 1.5 megawatt GAN-based chargers are already in pilot testing in Europe and California ports. A 500 kilowatt-hour truck battery that used to need an hour to charge can now reach 80% in under 12 minutes. Logistics companies are quietly rewriting their route planning software because downtime just collapsed. One surprising side effect: gas stations are panicking. Major oil companies have started buying charging startups and converting forecourts into battery stations at record speed. They know that if EV charging becomes faster than pumping gas, the writing is on the wall. Some analysts predict that by 2035, more than 60% of traditional fuel stations in developed countries will either close or convert entirely to electricity. And here's the final jaw-dropper nobody saw coming a few years ago. The U.S. Department of Energy just published a study showing that widespread 600+ key dollar charging enabled by GAN will reduce total electricity demand on the grid. Yes, you heard that right. Less overall electricity used. How? Because when people charge in 5-minute bursts instead of 40-minute sessions, peak loads become shorter and more predictable. Utilities can handle the power spike with existing infrastructure instead of building expensive new substations. The grid actually becomes more efficient, not less. GAN is more than a better transistor. It's the key that unlocks mass adoption at warp speed. It removes the last real inconvenience of electric vehicles and replaces it with pure convenience. 5 years from now, we'll look back at 2024 and laugh at how we ever thought 30-minute charging was acceptable. The flash charge era has officially begun. 2025 is only the starting line.